we ain't about to let some non-street in charge of Wu-Tang. Nah, we keeping that shit in the family.
Word.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love Wu-Tang, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today, we're going to be talking about Wu-Tang, an American Saga, Season 3, Episode 9. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. Now the title of the episode is called After the Smoke is Clear, and the description of the episode reads, in the penultimate episode of the series, Ghostface reflects on the sacrifices of his past while dealing with the bittersweet outcome of his artistic success. Meanwhile, RZA ventures to take a different approach for the clan's next album. So those are the key elements of this episode, and after this, we only got one more episode left. It's crazy that this series is coming to an end, and after watching this season, it still feels like it's a whole lot of story to be told, but hey, it is what it is. I understand Hulu usually does like 3 seasons or whatever of shows, so y'all let me know down below, do y'all believe we should have got more, or are y'all cool with the 3 seasons that we got? Now, this episode was flat out crazy. Your boy Ghostface, he was on one, man. He pulled out the strap. He was not playing around. I mean, he was paranoid, but he had some people following him. Y'all know Sheree told him you can't be acting all crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot to live for. We got a family. I mean, you a big rapper now, and you cannot be out here risking your life doing the same stuff that you used to do. You got to grow. You have to move forward. And we know Bobby, he went through the same type of stuff in this episode, but he didn't pop nobody. You know what I'm saying? He kept it cool, him and Divine, but it almost got ugly with them as well. But let's hop right into it. What did we see in episode 9 titled After the Smoke is Clear? Now, Bobby in this episode was looking for a new sound. That's what he wants to do. He is preparing to help out Ghostface finish his album. At the same time, we know he wants to prepare for Wu-Tang's next album. Now, he goes and picks up his mom from the airport. We know she's in town, not only because of, the birthday party, but we know Jerome, he been putting his hands on her, and they find out, about that later on in the episode. Now, let's get to your boy Ghostface, man. He was on one in this episode. He returns to the hood. Everybody's watching him. I mean, for the most part, it seemed like everybody was showing him love, but he had somebody watching him in a black car. And it's sad because he's probably feeling like, man, I can't even come back to my hood without somebody trying to hate on me. But we see that time and time again, even today. I mean, it happens all the time, going back to the hometown, and then you get taken out just like that. Now, we get to his son's birthday party, and this dude's getting a whole lot of gifts, and he gets the Nintendo 64, and this brings back so many memories. I remember getting my 64 back in the 90s as well. If you guys lived through the 90s, you already know this was one of the, best consoles out there, including the PlayStation, but man, crazy. Now, Ghostface is telling his son that he's doing what he is doing to make sure that he does not have a rough life, that he does not have to do the same things that he did when he was a kid. So you already know he loves his boy, and he just wants the best for him. Now let's get to your boy ODB. Now all of a sudden you want to do some music, you want to get in the studio, you want to do some work. Now, of course, majority of the members was there, so it made a lot of sense for them to get into the studio to see what they can get done. But it was funny to me to see him so eager to put in some work. And then we see your boy Divine. He's having a conversation with his moms, and he sees the bruise like on her arm, and he's like, man, what happened to you? She plays it off like it's nothing or whatever, but we know what time it is. He knew what time it was, and he's like, okay, I gotta go handle this. I gotta go have a conversation with Bobby, and then we gotta go to Ohio to figure this out. Now we get back to Bobby. He's in the music store. He is trying to find this sound. He is trying to, get equipment and figure out what he needs to do to prepare for the next album and also help out with Ghostface. Now, this guy was in there and he was telling Bobby, like, look, you're not a real musician or whatever. I mean, you can't even play instruments. We know he was looking at that slide guitar, but he tells Bobby, like, look, I'm a fan, of your work, but I mean, it is what it is. We know things are changing. And what Bobby is doing as far as mixing, he feels like he is good and that he's talented. And it's a reason why they continue to dominate the charts. So y'all know he felt some type of way about that. But y'all know Bobby, he took that personal. He's like, okay, you don't think I can play an instrument? I'm going to show you. So we know he ends up getting that slide guitar. And we know at the end of the episode, he teaches himself how to play it. Y'all know Bobby don't play about this music. he was in the zone, especially at the end of the episode. Then we get to Power and Ray. They see Wu wear at Macy's, and this is a big deal, especially from where they come from, all the hard work that Power has put in to build up Wu wear, and to see, it at Macy's, a big store, even in the 90s, this is big. And we know later on in the episode, he gets a deal to, of course, sell Wu wear. Now, once again, we see this black car watching Ghostface, and all this is doing is making him more and more paranoid. So he definitely wants to have that strap on him at all times, just in case something pops off. Now we get back to Power and this whole Wu wear topic of discussion. These guys, they want to buy it, and they're giving him a pretty big offer based on the way he was looking, and you can tell he was really thinking about this, and they're telling him like, look, you got to the end of the week to make your decision. He goes to his pops to see if this contract was good, if this was a good deal, and his dad's like, yeah, this is a good deal, and if it was me, I will take it. You know what I'm saying? I would have an early retirement. But we know deep down inside, Power is thinking like, man, I put in all this hard work into this company, into this brand, and then for me just to sell it off that quick, he doesn't feel 100% right about it. But after having that conversation, you can kind of tell he's kind of leaning towards his pops. But when he talks to Ray at the end of the episode, he decides to change it up. Now, Bobby was trying to mix and, get the sounds right for Ghostface's album, but Divine tells him he has to go make a move to Ohio, and he can tell, based off how Divine was talking, that this was real serious. This was on some street stuff, and Divine tells him that he believes Jerome was putting hands on Mom, so now Bobby's like, screw all that. I'm not about to sit up in here doing music. We need to go handle this right now. And he tells Tom just to finish the whole mixing. I know that dude was pissed off. Like, really? Like, I got to sit in here and do all this work after I just went out and try to find all this music? But it is what it is. It's his job. Now, we get to the Delphonics, and they kicking it with your boy Ghostface. They about to go to the studio to put in that work. But we know this black car continues to follow Ghostface, and they pull to the side of his car, and Ghostface didn't waste any time. He pulls out the strap. He gets the busting. And the old heads, they in the car like, really? Like, what is this dude on? They couldn't do it, man. They're like, man, we got to get the hell up away from this dude. They go to the studio, and they end up just doing their part and getting the hell up out of there. And y'all can tell Ghostface kind of felt bad about it. Like, man, I really just did that in front of these old heads. But, hey, y'all know Ghostface didn't give a damn. He felt like he had to defend himself, and that's exactly what he did. Now, we get to Divine and Bobby. And Divine, he got some straps. Divine is trying to get real ugly with this. And he's like, look, we got to, put some fear in this dude's heart. Let him know he can't be doing this. But Bobby's like, man, we can't go in there and do it like this. Because if we do, this is not going to end well for us. And that's still Randy's dad. So they end up figuring out another way to handle it. Now we get to Ghostface and Sheree. And Ghostface brings up the whole shooting thing. And the way that he talked about it, like it was like an everyday thing. It was no big deal at all. But Sheree was not having it. She's like, hell nah. We ain't about to be living that type of life. You ain't the person you used to be. You have a lot on the line. You have a family. You are a big rapper. And I mean, it's not worth it. And she was right. I mean, Ghostface can't be going back to doing the same stuff that he was on. And it doesn't matter if you're big or not, a big rapper. If you go back to the hood, y'all know how people act. They like to get real messy. And that's exactly what was about to happen if Ghostface probably didn't pull that strap out. I mean, those dudes was straight up lurking. So it is understandable why he did what he had to do. But it comes at a cost. And you can't, mess around being up out there because it's going to end bad for you when it's all said and done. Now, we get to Linda, and she is showing her family the bruises. She's telling them, yeah, this is the main reason why she broke up with Jerome. He's on probation, but she's going to handle it, and it's not going to end well for him. And y'all know they was pissed off seeing that. And Divine, he already saw it, and it, pretty much confirmed that he was right, that this man was putting his hands on his moms. But we know it seemed like she didn't want them getting messy and messing around and getting in trouble trying to deal with him because she has it under control. Now we get back to Bobby. He goes to see Ghostface. He is trying to finish up this album, and we know Bobby's been through what he's been through with his brother, dealing with Jerome, and y'all know what Ghostface has been through, pulling out that strap. And Bobby pretty much tells him the same thing Sheree told him, that we cannot risk, going back to our old selves. We have to move forward and just, move completely different than we've done in the past. And it makes a lot of sense because why go back to that same type of lifestyle, especially when you got so much on the plate and you have accomplished so much. So It doesn't make any sense to go back to doing what you used to do. Now, we get to the whole Wu-Ware, the ending of this storyline. Y'all know Power, he goes right past the whole Macy's thing once again. And he's telling Ray that he's thinking about selling it. But y'all know Ray, he wasn't having that. He's like, man, don't do that. Like, you put in so much work for this, and to allow these guys that pretty much don't know nothing about the street life take over, hell nah, that ain't happening. And he even tells, Power that he's willing to put up some money to make sure Wu-Ware can get pushed even more in other places or whatever. So that's a good deal, because if he would have did that, y'all know he would have regretted it down the line. But y'all let me know, do y'all believe Power made the right move, or should he have sold it when he had the opportunity to? Now we get back to Bobby, Divine, and their moms. They take her to the Wu mansion. She's finally able to see it, but they tell her, like, look, we're going to get you a new place. She's going to end up staying there. She doesn't have to go back to Ohio. And now she's going to have her own spot, a spot where basically she wanted to always be at. And that's good, because she needed it. And hopefully she can, be a little bit more stress-free. Now we get back to Sheree and your boy Ghostface. They make up. Everything seems like it's going well. She tells him, this is the dentist that she knows or she fell in love with after hearing his new music. And, he's in the zone. I mean, he's pretty much done with the album. Y'all can tell that he put a lot of work with this album, and he felt like he needed to be in that area in order to get that inspiration. And he calls Bobby. He's telling him, like, look, I'm done. The album is good. But Bobby tells him, not yet. You're not done yet. Bobby, he wants to, I guess, bridge off this album to the next Wu album or whatever. That's what he was pretty much saying. He has some ideas. He wants to put in, his new music, that sound that he had in his head. He just has to get it out. And we can see him. He is studying this slide guitar. He is trying to pretty much learn how to use this instrument. He's not playing around. Like I told y'all earlier, he took this very personal when old boy was running his mouth about what he can't do or whatever, that he's not a true musician. Like, really? So it's time to show you what he can do. And that's exactly what he did. He found that sound that he was looking for. It was a sound that was in his head. It wasn't from anybody else. And he lets Ghostface listen to it over the phone. And Ghostface loved it. He's like, yeah, that's it. And he was wondering, like, where did you get that from? And Bobby told him, look, I made it. You know what I'm saying? I did it. We making our own sounds now. So this is the new wave. And he wants to continue to improve Wu-Tang. And it's crazy because Ghostface, he was talking about how when he was a kid, he listened to the Delphonics and how they got him through so much. He even told them that they got him through so much with their music, and to have, them work with him on that album, on that song, it meant a lot to him. I mean, sadly, he had to get into that whole shootout while they was in the car, but hey, they still came to that studio and put in that work. You know what I'm saying? The old heads came in and they still showed their support. So that was just flat out crazy. But we only got one more episode left, man. The season, hell, the series finale, and I cannot wait to see how it's all going to end. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.